Now guys, I've got a test for you. Is the sunlight hitting my face the actual sun, or is it a light? Let me know in the comments below before we get into this video. So there is literally nothing worse than when you go outside and you're trying to get some beautiful golden hour shots, because let's face it, it's the best time to be shooting. But as the sun starts going down, you start to lose all your light. That's where this little fella could actually come in very, very handy. Now, if you do find yourself in this situation, you always want to prioritize your wider shots first, because it's much harder to light a big area with small lights than it is to light close-ups or anything where like pickup shots where you can get a little bit closer to the talent. So always shoot your wide shots when you have light, and I'll show you what you can do with this to fake those close-up shots to make it look like it's still sunset. So the first thing you want to do is you want to turn the CCT down all the way to 2700. That's going to give us a nice warm light that looks similar to the light that we have coming in through here, right? So similar sort of light. If you want to make it softer, we can put this little dome thing on here. But if you're trying to simulate like actual harsh daylight, we want to just use this reflector dish itself. So now the sun is actually over there, so you can see it's kind of like lighting up this part of my face. But if I was to put this, I'll keep this in frame so you can actually see it. If I was to put this over here and to pretend like this was the sun, let's crank this up a bit. Get some level in here. Now obviously you can actually see the light, so it's not really fooling anyone, but how much does that look like sunset? Like that actually looks so freaking good. Now for reference, this is what the actual sunlight hitting my face looks like. And this is what the SmallRig RC100B looks like. Like that's even fooling me. That literally looks like the sun hitting my face, but it's not, it's this light right here. That's why I'm saying always shoot your wides first, because you can always cut in tighter and use lights like this, which are super small, super portable, and super cheap to get nice sunset shots like this after the sun has gone down completely. Now, one of the best things about this light is that you can actually run it off V-mount batteries, and like this literally just clicks into the back. Like it's got a V-mount plate on the back that you can literally just clip this into. This is much harder to do with one hand. Oh my God, this is like impossible to do with one hand. But I know that not everyone has V-lock batteries as well, so you can actually also power it via USB-C, and they do give you a really long USB-C cable that you can plug into a power outlet or even any other sort of battery, a power bank, anything like that to actually power this. Or under here, you can also do a DC in as well. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't come with the DC cable in the main kit. You have to actually add that on. And also it doesn't fit in the box that you get it in. So it's kind of like this weird thing where you kind of need it, but you kind of don't. But if you do need it, you kind of have to transport it separately, which is a little bit awkward. But honestly, the main selling point of this light is the size. Like, look how small that is. That is 100 watts of power, literally in the palm of my hand. Just crazy. Now, when you do turn it on, you'll be greeted with this screen. Now, what I would recommend is turning the intensity dial to the left, not the right, because you don't want this cranking up in intensity in case it's facing someone. You always want it to go down as you're turning it on. If you press the intensity button, it's going to go up in 33% increments from basically 30%, 60%, 100%, all the way back down to 0, which is cool. So you've got a CCT range of 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin, but if you press the button in, you'll go 3200, 4300, 5600. I wish they did do 2700 and 6500 as well, but clearly these are the main ones that they think people are going to use on a day-to-day basis. Now, there's also some cool fan modes as well. So right now we're on the auto fan mode, but if we double tap this, we can see this like no noise icon come up. Now, what this will allow you to do is have no fans, but it's going to limit the intensity to 20%. So you can still do any of your CCT modes, but it is going to limit it to 20%, and that is because there is literally no fan on at all, and that's going to stop it from overheating. If you double tap it again, it's going to go to this one, which is a low fan, and that'll allow you to go up to 70%. Same thing, you can still do any of your CCT modes, and then if you double tap it again and it turns off, this is an auto mode, and it's going to allow you to go all the way up to 100%, and again, any CCT mode as well. Now again, this is a perfect opportunity to show you how you can simulate golden hour light. So right now the sun has gone behind the horizon, so you can't actually get any direct sunlight. However, if we were to grab this, crank this up, I'm going to keep it in frame so you can see it, crank it up to, let's say, like 60%, let's go 2700 Kelvin. if I'm in here, see now it looks like the sunlight is beaming through, and if I was to crop in on me, it's really hard to tell whether it's actual sunlight or a light itself. However, one thing to note is that you want to make sure the light doesn't go below you, because the sun would never ever come up towards you, it's only ever going to come down. So we would never do something like this and angle it up towards me, because now it just looks a little bit unnatural, because the sun would never actually do that. Unless you're trying to get real creative with something, if you're trying to simulate actual sunlight, you always want to have it at least level, if not slightly above. Now, using the app is really easy. There's honestly not that much to control, so they've made it very, very simple. Basically, we have the color temperature here, we have a plus and minus to adjust the color temperature, and then we have a slider with an input here that you can put in the brightness that you want. Now, to be honest, I wish they had a plus and minus for the dimming. I don't really care too much about the CCT. Like, that's really easy to control. But for dimming, you literally have 100 different intensities that you need to go through. So I'd rather have this plus and minus for the dimming itself. Now, scrolling through the CCT, it actually isn't super smooth. It is quite stepped. However, the intensity is actually quite smooth. So you can see as I go through here, you can actually, make it go up and down. If I go really quick, you can see that it isn't just like going like really, really bright, really, really dim. Like, it is actually ramping up, which is good. However, if you wanted to do like a color shift, it's not going to be super duper smooth. They also have 9 different effects that you can play with as well. Now, you can do this on the light itself. However, it is so hard to do. Like, if you're going to use the effects, 100% get the app. You do have to register to use the app, but honestly, it's going to save you a ton of headaches. So we've got flash, paparazzi, lightning, party, faulty bulb, TV, flame, fireworks, and breathe. They're not the greatest effects. Like, it's only a bicolored light, so you're not going to get like crazy effects out of this. However, stuff like flame, where if you want to do it like pretend like you're near a fire or something, this tends to work pretty good. Like, we're going to use it right now, and you can see, hopefully it kind of looks like I'm near somewhat of a fire over this side. So there are some practical things that you can use in here, but honestly, most of these are kind of a bit of a gimmick, and you don't really use them that much. But if you do want to use them, make sure you get the app, because it will save you so many headaches. One thing I wish they added in here is actually just telling us what these actual sliders are for. Like, obviously this one's dim, I think this one's frequency, and this is the color. However, just having like a little icon or a little like name, especially for someone who's never used this before, is actually going to be really, really hard. And in terms of accessories, you don't get that much. You get a standard mini reflector dish, and you get this little, gel cover thing to soften it. Honestly, like, when I got this, I was kind of like, this is a bit of a gimmick, but it does do a pretty good job. It kind of reminds me of like the Gary Fong light spheres that we used to put on top of our photo cameras when we were shooting events and stuff. This kind of works like that. So it just softens it, makes it a little bit bigger. And you also get this little adapter for the bottom as well, which will allow you to actually change the angle of it, so you're not just mounting it directly to a light. And it can also work, I guess, like a bit of a handle as well. However, if you want to get the softest light out of here, you should really be using a Softbox. And SmallRig do this really cute little 60cm one, which packs down really small. And again, like, for a portable setup, this thing is freaking wild. And now this is the difference that a Softbox will make. So this is using the 60cm Softbox, and you can see it's really, really soft, really, like, it wraps really nice around my face, as opposed to if we're just using the included reflector dish with that little rubber dome on it. This is what that looks like. It's not as soft, the shadows are a bit harsher, and just doesn't wrap as well around my face. And then for reference as well, my God, let's turn this down. Now for reference as well, this is just using the reflector dish. This is so much brighter. Like, I've had to reduce the intensity so much because this is literally directly off the light itself. And where you'd be using the direct reflector dish itself is where you want to do that, like, that golden hour effect. So turn it down to 2700, pop it out of frame, kind of like, I need to actually point it towards me. Now look how good this looks. Like, this actually looks like it's sunset. And that's just using the reflector dish. This light's literally on 5%. It is not that bright as well. And look at this, look how good that looks. Like, that is so good. Now, the one thing I'm really disappointed with that I wish they offered was some kind of bag. Like, it comes in a really padded box, but like, I don't want to carry around a SmallRig box with my light in it. I'd rather have a nice padded carry case with a handle on it so I can carry it around like a normal person. And the fact that they don't even give you the option. Like, you cannot buy a padded bag for this. This is it. And like, I don't even care if it was an upsell. Like, upsell me on a padded bag specifically for this light. Like, such a missed opportunity here from SmallRig. However, if you do want a padded bag for this, you can actually get third-party ones on Amazon. I think Ulanzi and Niwa do some padded bags this as well. I don't know which ones are gonna fit this one exactly, but generally most of them have like, they can either fit 1 or like 3 lights in them. So if you had a few of these, you could get one of those, and that would just allow you to make it more portable and more of a portable kit that you can actually carry around. All right, now finally, would I actually recommend this light? Honestly, I was never really a fan of like really small lights because they just didn't have enough power, but this light is so different. Like 100 watts of power in such a small design is just absolutely crazy. And the fact that you can just slap a V-lock on there, take it anywhere, change the color of it, like it's so versatile. Obviously it's not going to be useful to light like an entire scene, like it's more like a hair light or a key light in a close-up scenario or a controlled scenario. But honestly, this light is going to be an absolute staple in my kit from now on, just because of the power that it packs in such a small, compact design.